Hello everyone. I've decided I was going to put a solar water heater on top of my truck. So when I go to remote locations I can have a warm shower or be able to wash dishes. So I looked at many videos, many videos on YouTube. And I want to thank all of you for your ideas. So I've kind of put them all together. My background is I'm a maintenance technician. I've been doing that for 30-something years. I was an electrician before that. So I'm kind of skilled in the field of construction and such. Mav, I want to say thank you, because you got me started on this, and there's several other guys. I tried to avoid the mistakes you made, and I did make one mistake, but I was able to fix it with some parts, and I'll explain all of that. So let me go on to the first thing I did. This piece here, I went with the flat 4-inch connector. Now, much like one or two other fellows, and I should have learned from that, I discovered that once I had it done, it's not really a connector, it's a cap. But what makes it nice is it has a flat surface, so it makes for a good seal. And the way I did this was I used a variable bit, Home Depot, and I decided I wanted to get a good solid, since we're going to be applying pressure to PVC. PVC is really for drain, it is not for high pressure, but we're not doing real high pressure. Maybe 30 psi is what I'm seeing. So I got a hotter glue, which is called Red Hot glue, which should have a better bond, and just the primer. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is glue this piece in to here, and then we'll glue it into here. Start by cleaning the inside. Alright. Now I want to clean the outside of this. Of course, have it go to the inside. This is kind of a different setup than I'm used to. Alright, so let's get this thing glued. Alright, so since this is just a little bit of a different configuration, I'm trying to fill the gaps. Now, one of the things I plan on doing is going with this water weld to go around the seams. So I think I'm going to bring it down a little bit, just to see if it gives me a little ridge to build to put on there, but I still have enough in there to attach, so we'll let that dry. Okay, so what I'm finding out, the PVC cement that I'm using sets it off hot, so you better work fast. Once you get both pieces primed and glued, you need to move fast. I tried gluing both sides. I don't think that's going to work in this case, but I think this stuff sets off so fast, and I think it's going to work fine. So I'm getting ready to glue up one end of this to see how it works out. Now, one thing I did where I made a mistake was I bought this coupling, and it's a slip coupling. So I'm finding that this isn't such a good plan, because when you push that inner side down, there's a lip in here which will stop it. So I actually pushed it too far and I had to buy another piece, so I lost about that much of my pipe. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead, since I've already got that one glued, I'm going to go ahead and use it. But if it doesn't work out, I'll lose a little bit more pipe and have to go another route with the ring on it. That's the one I do recommend. So I'm going to get this thing glued up and I'll get back with you in a second. Okay, let's start with the primer here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this pipe. There's already a little line here. I just want it to line up for the main reason. I want this at this particular angle so I'll know when it's full, and I want the other side facing down, this facing up, so I want to make sure I get to the right spot. And once again, I'm going to mark around about where I want it, and then we're going to glue it. But we got to do some cleaning first. I won't bore you with the cleaning. I won't bore you with the cleaning of it. I'll go ahead and get everything cleaned up and then I'll glue it so you can see how it's aligned and everything. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue the bottom of this up real good. Alright, matching up the lines. Here we go. It's close. Alright, that should be about it. That's as close as we're going to get it. Okay. So now we just give it a few hours. I'll read the directions. I'll let you know how long you're supposed to wait. We're going to let it dry. This last end I did, seeing how it fit in there, and I pounded on a little bit. It seems to be fine. I think it's going to hold fine. Time will tell. If it doesn't, I'll come up with a plan B. Hello again. So I'm still working on this camper conversion. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take you and show you what I've done so far. Last year I decided that I'd prefer to have a topper on my truck rather than just a toolbox, because I can turn it into a camper and help me out with some of my adventures. So let me just walk to it and show you what I did. This is a 2011 Dodge Ram 1500 4x4. Had this topper put on it. I had a rear window, or the front window of it, will lay down so I can actually clean it. And it does have an opening in it, which you can see right there. And then of course I'm looking through the side window, which opens and closes. If I had to do it all over again, I think I would have had 2 of those. But the reason I did this was, this has kind of a small window right there, and that's where the screen is. If you look across the way, the screen's bigger, and I was looking for more ventilation. So I basically started with a open pickup, and this is not the finished version. This is going to be a project ongoing project. I basically made these cabinets on either side, and then I bought some carpeting and carpeted it up. There's a lot of features on this. This here, which just has junk in it right now, I'm about to show you what I'm going to do with that. This is where my battery is going to be, but I can also, I'm going to put that on so I can have power here, and then I have cords that run forward, and when I sleep in this I have sleep apnea, so I have a CPAP machine. I can run it off a battery here, plus I also have small batteries that I can run it off of. Eventually I'm going to have lights and fans that just stay in this all the time. Like I said, it's a work in progress, so I'm going to be working on that. I have a door here that I can access from the inside, and that there's a door in the center. You can see the cutout right there, and that just lifts out so I can access camping gear. And then there's another door on the front where I can access the top in case I have to. And then on this side I have another one of these, and I think I'm going to keep either fishing gear or camping gear so I can have it ready for access. To get in and out of this, I have the step stool that I leave in here, and I just bungeed it to the side so it doesn't slide all over the truck. And then when you go in here, I have storage that I need to get to for tools and such. I'm going to move some of this around because I think I might be wanting to get some of my camping gear out of here from the side. It'll be easier than over there. If you look over there, the green outlet is for battery operation, an inverter, but I also have a Goal Zero, which I'll show later. And the other one is for house power, so if I pull up to a campground where I have house power, I won't have to use the battery. So that's my camper shell in a nutshell. And give me a minute and I'll show you what I'm going to do with hooking up the electric in the battery area. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to replace a we call them a cord cap, and how to put this on end of a cord. This one here is a female end. Usually, like if you're replacing one on your vacuum cleaner because the dog chewed it up, you'd get a male end. But this one here, I need to plug in something into this. I've already ran the cord for my truck power underneath and through a hole that's in this little box. I did that planning before I built the box. So this box is going to be dedicated to power for the truck. So this is what we're going to be doing today, trying to get this powered up for a trip for this weekend. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is get this thing apart. And they usually leave one screw that's tightened down so it doesn't come apart in the store. So I'll loosen that up, and it just comes apart. And then you're going to want to loosen these to get the wire through. Not too much, because you don't want to have to keep screwing it down to get it tight. So once you get this loose enough for the wire, run it through here in the bottom and up inside the body. But you don't want to tighten down this end just yet, because you're going to want to pull it back down so all the wires are in there. I'm loosening it a little bit more. So now I can move it easier. Alright, so now that's on. Don't forget to do that because you'll have to unwire everything. So this is very simple. Black is hot, white is neutral, green is ground. They're actually marked on here. Silver wire, which is white or neutral, gold wire, which is black, which is hot, and of course the green to the green is a ground. A good way to always remember to start is you always want it to be grounded first. So I always connect a green wire. That's just the way I started doing it and the way I do it to this day. So get in there, tighten down, make sure it's snug. On to the next one. Sometimes these are loose enough, sometimes they're not. Back it out a little bit, gold to the black, and it just tightens down in there. Might need a little bit bigger screwdriver to get it as tight as you want. These come in with Phillips head and standard, or straight as some people call them. That tight. And then on to the white. In this case, you always want to make sure there's no power to it. And I was positive there was, because the power is underneath the truck and it's not plugged in. So, now that I've got that in, I'm going to give this just a little bit of a twist so it sits down in there nicer. And it'll only go in one way. Let's see here. There's a little tab in there. And then once you get that in there, tighten up these screws. I missed it. There we go. There we go. Now I know I got it. Now sometimes you have to see how this came out the back. If I can't get that twisted up in there, I'll have to take it back apart and shorten the wires, because you want as much insulation between you and electricity as possible. It's just a safety thing. See how that went back up in there? And these are a little bit harder to tighten down. Use a little bit bigger screwdriver. Usually the point in time when I slip off the screw and jab myself in the hand. And I've been doing it for years and it just happens. Cost of doing business. Now the size of the wire is going to determine on what kind of load you're going to be doing. I don't plan on having a heater really, because this is Florida. If I do, it'll be a very small one, and this particular wire will carry that load. Mostly this is going to be for lighting and fans, and it's more than adequate. And all this stuff you can get at your local hardware store, Home Depot, Ace, or Lowe's. Almost there. There it is, nice and tight. Now, this wire here runs all the way to the front for my CPAP and possibly lighting. Eventually I'll have a switch back here where I can light up the back. But I want to add a little bit more capacity as far as plugs go. So I'm adding this in. And then just plug this in. And that part of my project is done. I'll just neaten up the wire some. Now, I'll show you what I did down below. So, underneath my truck, if you can see right there's the wire, just ran it through. I just got to reach up underneath there, plug it in, and plug it to the house power at the campground I'm staying at, and I'll have house power. If not, then I can go to my I'll be able to go to the battery operation, which is a Goal Zero, and I'll add that in this video later on. Okay, so I've turned the water on to the hose, so I'm going to open it and start filling the tube. Alright, now I've already got water coming out that end, but I know it's not full. There's going to be a lot of air in there. We're just priming it. When we have a steady stream coming out of there, we'll know we're basically full. And I'd say we're there. Well, on further review, given the angle, I would say maybe we're not. Let's try this again. Okay, so there we go. Oh, you turn the other side off. Well, it's got good pressure anyway. Okay. That's more of a better test. Sometimes you just have to think these things out. This is roughly 5 gallons, and I knew it didn't fill that fast. Okay, now I would say we're closer to full. Let's shut this off. This is already off. So now I'm going to pressurize the system here. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hose off and let a little bit of water out, because we won't be able to pressurize it much. Oh, excuse me, let me turn the water off. Okay. Water's off at the hose. Okay. So, I just have my handy dandy tire pumper from Black & Decker. You obviously can use whatever brand you want. This one's just everything in one and suits my needs. I always carry it in my truck. Alright. It comes with a gauge, so I'll know just how much air I'm putting in here. That locked on. Let's see where we're at. Just like we were afraid of. Let's see what happened. Just like I said, I thought that was a side that was going to give me problems, and you can see it's leaking all around the seal. So I'm going to have to get another cap, and I'm going to go with a non-slip coupling. So we'll just let this drip down overnight and look at it again tomorrow. Okay, so I finished the project. I had a few minor problems finishing up this solar water heater. So I pumped it up, and I bought those end caps like I showed you previously, and I thought they'd be okay because they're a flat surface, but they're a very thin PVC, and it didn't blow out dramatically. It just split and water went everywhere. So as you can see, this wasn't the best solution. This is what it's supposed to look like. So once I found out that's too thin, I went with plan B, and I've got went with the standard round PVC end caps, and my concern was I didn't have a flat surface like here, a flat surface. So I was worried about the round and making the connections so they wouldn't leak. Well, I just pumped it up and tested it, and it worked fine. So let me show you what it looks like now. So this is my deep pressure, or my pressurized. And the reason this is upside down is when I fill this tube up, it has to be at a slight angle. So when I get water squirting out of here, I just turn off the other side and I know it's full. And I come over here and I shut this off. Or you could leave it on and then you come over here, and as you can see, everything worked very well. I used some 5200. This, I just took it out of the box, drilled the hole where it was tight, put it in. Nothing leaked. Nothing leaked at all. I pumped it up to 30 psi and life was good. It also seemed the less water I had in it, the longer the pressure stayed up, which I've seen other guys do this and it happened with their designs too. So it's basically very cheap to do. You're probably looking at less than $100. So like the brass fittings, they are around $8–9, and there's 2 of those. Alright, so there's 20 bucks. These I actually got for free, but they're around $7. The end caps are $5. The 20-foot piece of pipe, which you only need 6 foot, was $20. So you're looking at about $40 to $60 to do this whole project. Unless you do like I do and you buy a bunch of stuff like this that you don't really need. But having said that, I've decided I'm going to make this one a little bit longer. Or having said that, I'm going to make one that's a little bit longer. This one is just shy of 6 feet. I want to say it's 5 foot 5 inches because of all the cutting I had to do on it and all the problems. But now that I've done it, it should be pretty quick. And once I get this posted, send me your comments. Thanks. We can try out my solar water heater. I've got it mounted to the top of the truck. I just used some tie-down straps, ratcheting straps, and some foam I got off of Home Depot to give it something to push in against, and it seems really solid. I've filled it up and got it under pressure. Everything's holding, no runs, no drips, no errors. It's not leaking at all. I'm very happy. Here, let me show you what it looks like. I put an end cap on it just to keep critters out of there, or dust or dirt or whatever. I won't be drinking this water. It's mainly for showering and washing equipment off and such. So here's the foam piece. And as you see, it's about a little less than 6 foot, about 5.5 feet long. And there's the other end for pressure. So I can fill it up without having to unscrew an end cap or anything. I just open that up, point this truck uphill, and that way it fills to the top. I shut that down, shut down the other one, and it's full. Pump it with 30–35 psi, and we're holding. Last test, I guess, is having the water in it and let it be out in the sun and see how that pressure does, but I'm thinking it's going to be okay. So until next time, thanks for watching.